Now, going back to the idea of the gold market breakdown by Jim Willey, evidence is being gathered by perhaps a dozen key gold traders with diverse connections to the gold industry. They tie the delivery systems, the authentication processes, the assayers, record-keeping, big financial firms, and trading platforms. Evidence mounts that as many as 1.5 million 400-ounce gold bars, remember this is only 400-ounce gold bars, were replaced at Fort Knox during the Clinton administration with the tungsten bars covered within gold plates. This was a complex metallurgical feat. From what is told, the first salted bars were discovered in Hong Kong a month ago, reported by the Hat Trick Letter. Since that time, tens of thousands of bars have been examined, usually using 4 test holes drilled for direct sampling. Other non-invasive methods are being used as well, such as electromagnetic tests to detect the actual lattice structure of the metal to distinguish gold from other substitutes. Word came this week that almost every available assayer in the world is currently tied up, charged with proving the authenticity of gold bars worldwide right now. Rob Kirby suspects that the Street Tracks Gold Exchange Traded Fund might be loaded with such salted bars. It's a perfect destination for them since the Wall Street syndicate prevents any audit. The total value of gold removed within the plot was worth over $500 billion. So where are the real gold bars stored? ? My guess is the same location where the Madoff money is secretly held. My view is the story is not only credible, but is the climax of the U.S. financial collapse. I concur with Mr. Willey. In time, the United States will be isolated, declared a rogue nation, unable to fund its debt except with monetization, whose leaders and former leaders face internal and international prosecution. The resulting inflation will undermine U.S. dollar to the point that it will not be accepted. A U.S. Treasury default will be forced, all in time. To be sure, some demand for gold might be frozen into inaction, obviously, as customers would fear owning fake gold bars. Now, that's the 400-ounce ones. However, the significantly greater effect is that sellers of gold will scramble to purchase real gold bars so as to avoid fraud charges, criminal prosecution, and jail time. And that's going on right now, and I'll get to that story. This is huge, ladies and gentlemen. It is the biggest tipping point. Forget the stock market. Forget all the averages. Forget all of this stuff. This is it. The motive, by the way, was to support the gold price at the time. Just a few years later, the U.S. president, under President Nixon, abandoned the U.S. gold standard as dictated by the Bretton Woods Accord. The gold was replaced during the Johnson administration in Fort Knox by lead bars plated with gold. A contact of mine was in U.S. military police at the time. He reported long caravans exiting Fort Knox for weeks at a time, but the details of shipments were not known to guards, only their duties. For some excellent forensic financial analysis on the fake gold project called Operation Grand Slam, see Rob Kirby's article. It is entitled, On Doing God, a New Take on Operation Grand Slam, with tungsten twist here, dated 12th of November 2009. Dollar gold market breakdown is within view. London gold is being drained by the Chinese. A dismantle of the criminal apparatus is their goal. Upon full breakdown, the gold price will be released from paper tentacles and rise sharply. Now, in the last week, I have had, I cannot confirm, 3 times, I cannot confirm, but by people who deal in numbers most of you can't count to, they're talking a 97% devaluation of the U.S. dollar. Again, ladies and gentlemen, there's a time when basically you just got to put it, lay it out there, take it, and those of you who are capable of taking to the Lord in prayer, and I got to tell you this, I am astonished by the ignorance that is perpetrated on the public by the people that continue to say, oh, gold's at a top, gold's at a top, gold's at a top, and then we'll get to silver later if we got that much time. Now, listen to this. Pressure mounted in early October at the London Metals Exchange as gold contract holders demanded delivery for gold. My sources tell me that the parties demanding gold were almost exclusively Chinese. Now, ladies and gentlemen, my sources tell me, in addition to Chinese, that the Arabs had started this about 6 months ago. It is mostly private billionaires. Their stated motive was to diversify out of U.S.-based assets denominated in the dollar. Their rumored motive was to ruin the exchange, expose the chronic fraud linked to government ministries, and force U.S. dollar to fight in the open to demonstrate to the world the value or lack of value. The source said the next round of gold contract delivery pressure comes in late November. Weeks away. Then again in March 2010. And finally in June 2010. Now, remember, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who follow the web bots, The point is, those are their key turning dates, or those are points that they're really worried about too. He said that the gold is gradually being drained in London, and all demands for gold delivery were met in October using legal force, the courts, and powerful attorneys. Not a single gold contract was settled for cash, even with a 25% dividend bribe. I was told the bribes were 40%. He concluded that the financial system will be broken as the U.S. gold-dollar crossbeam. He openly stated that he could not conceive of the system holding together past June of next year, and a severe test is likely in March 2010. He said with a sly tone, "There is a saying, watch out or you become crap before your own shovel." He used the S word. This is what is happening to the boys right now. The people in the driver's seat of the bulldozer have clear instructions what to do in the gold market. When the breakdown comes, it will be next to impossible to trade in U.S. dollars, to settle commerce in U.S. dollars, to finance U.S. treasuries, to supply the U.S. economy with credit, and to maintain the U.S. banking system. The banks in the United States will then shut down in all likelihood. My view, and this is the end of this, this is just one of the parts, there's 15 parts to this, and you've got to subscribe to it. My view is that the battle royal is being played out with gross global pressures between the old, broken, insolvent, corrupted powers of the West versus the new, wealthy, ambitious powers of the East, led by China. The future chapters will possibly involve the International Court in The Hague for prosecutions against the Wall Street firms and former U.S. Treasury officials. It will possibly involve a wave of murders from the middle levels working up, since the guilty parties operate with impunity and government protection. It will surely involve relentless attacks on COMEX and London, the CME for gold deliveries where collateral requirements are not enforced. The practice is known as naked shorting, and it's illegal. It will probably involve the isolation of the United States with full recognition of a crime syndicate lodged within its government, ministries, and capital markets. These are truly incredible times. Now, again, ladies and gentlemen, what's going to happen, and I'm already seeing this, and I'm picking up rumors of it, there are people out there that, and I mean no disrespect, there are a lot of ma and pa gold stores that only can buy or sell what they get. In other words, let's say somebody liquidates an inheritance, they end up with 50 Maple Leafs or Gold Eagles or whatever, that's what they have to sell. The people that I've done business with over 3 decades are the world's leading, when I say this, the top 3 in the world. I've always said it's not a question so much of getting what you need, it's the price you have to pay. Now I'm forced to restate that and saying you better get what you can, because the day will come when you can't get what it is, even if you're willing to pay $5,000 an ounce, or you're willing to pay $100 an ounce for silver. The day comes when you can't do that.